icebreaker's crew to retrieve their conductivity, temperature, and depth sensor, or CTD.
Watch out.
The CTD has collected water samples at various depths from the bottom of the Arctic Ocean.
I'm here as an intern. The chief scientist basically allowed me to come aboard and shadow what they're doing and get an experience. And I'm trying to help out where I can, really, just being as useful as possible. In my future career, I'll become an ROV pilot, and a couple times a year I'll be on a ship overnight for months at a time. So I needed to get a feel for that with this type of atmosphere.
I'm going to take a sample.
It's pretty tough being away and everything's completely new and completely foreign.
Yeah. Goes the long way.
Yeah. Back home is my wife and my 2 kids. This is a current picture of my daughter, Layla. She's a handful. I miss her a lot. Me being here has been a positive experience for me. It's going to be something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life.
Josh and the crew on board Healy will be out to sea a total of 5 weeks. With their Arctic mapping mission now halfway done, they will soon be reunited with their families. 9,000 miles away, the German icebreaker Polarstern makes her way to the Antarctic ice shelf. She began her 5,000-mile expedition in Germany and is now on her way to resupply the research station Neumayer. 36 scientists on board are doing an array of important fieldwork along the way. The Belgians have spotted what may be a large pod of whales close to a remote island.
We can ask the ship to go back, but obviously he won't do that. So the only way to get back to the place where we saw them this morning is take a helicopter flight.
The wind is exceptionally harsh today, but the Belgians won't be deterred.
This kind of tricky underneath weather conditions is most certainly not ideal, but we should be able to find them when they're out there. The only thing that's going to get away the rest of a whale is its blow when its surface is too thick in oxygen.
The Belgians are looking for a pod of humpback whales they saw a few hours ago. The team finds their humpbacks.
Humpback whale, they have been on the verge of extinction and they're now recovering. Seeing that they're doing well, it might sound stupid, but it's kind of an honor or most certainly a privilege to be there.
After 3 weeks of sailing in science across the Atlantic and South Oceans, Polarstern approaches the Antarctic ice shelf, home to the German research station, Neumayer.
Yeah, we're on the edge of the ice. It's very amazing. I can't put it into words.
Polarstern pulls alongside the ice shelf, which serves as a natural dock.
That's the last one.
After successfully setting up Tashtigo, an automated whale detection system, physicist Daniel Zitterbart now has to say goodbye.
Sebastian and me will be leaving the ship, and we will pitch up a new automatic penguin observatory to take pictures of penguins huddling and aggregating and dissolving to solve the questions we have.
February 7th. I will miss my friend.
Bye.
Daniel's work on Polarstern is over, but his work on land is just beginning.
The emperor penguin colony is situated about 7 kilometers away from the base, so you don't want to drive there every day. That's why we will be putting up something which is there permanently for the next 2 years. And I think that's the first of its kind in the whole world. that you have a remote-controlled penguin observatory down here.
Daniel will be studying a behavior that allows penguins to survive Antarctic winters and temperatures that go below -30.
Penguins live the whole year down here, and to survive, they developed a special behavior called huddling, where they just come together very, very tightly.
Impossible not to huddle, because otherwise they would lose too much energy and they would just not make it through the winter.
Huddling is a key for survival, but we don't know if any of the internal dynamics is also a key. And we are interested in how penguins move, how the huddles last, how they expand, how they collapse. It was just more or less a fun project to see if there's something really going on, and we made a lot of science out of it.
Daniel will spend the next 7 weeks on the ice shelf, setting up his penguin observation station.
I love my job because it's fun. I would not trade that job for anything else, not for more money, not for more free time, whatever. Fun in your job is, for me, the main purpose to do the job.
In the Arctic,
It's hard to get up here. I mean, you need an icebreaker to get this far north.
American scientists try to dig up rare rock. And on the opposite end of the Earth, the Germans face a dangerous situation on the Antarctic ice shelf.
We had to operate in a very careful way to protect both vessels from colliding.
In deadly polar waters, crews battle the brutal elements,
Everything that we do is dangerous.
performing critical missions and breaking new ground.
Hey, watch out, they're running out!
On breaking ice. The German icebreaker Polarstern is in the 3rd week of her 29th Antarctic expedition.
I was very excited to go on an expedition here. This is my first cruise to Antarctica, where we supplied our German research station.
Polarstern and her crew are on an epic journey that began in Germany and will take them 5,000 miles to the bottom of the planet. They must get to the Antarctic ice shelf to deliver supplies, equipment, and fuel that will sustain their scientific research station Neumeier for the year to come. 3rd Officer Carola Raqueta needs to perform a reconnaissance flight to study the ice and find the best path to Neumeier.
Sometimes when the ice situation is very difficult, we will use the helicopters to find a way. We need to see the ice situation directly ahead of us.
But she won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Polarstern's helicopter pilots are often at the mercy of the extreme and unpredictable Antarctic weather.
This is a typical whiteout situation. You can't see any horizon. You can't see nothing. No sun, no reference, and the wind is blowing the snow over the ice, and so you will lose everything. It's very, very dangerous.
Whiteout conditions can occur suddenly here, turning a routine reconnaissance flight into a very dangerous operation.
There's no rule for getting a whiteout. It can happen in 10 seconds. It can also happen in 10 minutes.
In March 2013, 2 helicopters in Berlin crashed due to whiteout conditions. The accident was fatal.
You see only white.
In another ocean on the opposite end of the Earth, the Coast Guard cutter Healy continues her expedition deep in the Arctic.
All right, bring it up.
36 scientists are on board, mapping the ocean floor and gathering important data on the region's changing climate.
Coming to the Arctic to do science is really challenging. You need special equipment, special vessels.
Oceanographer Pablo Clemente Colon has been making this voyage since 2007.
What happens in the Arctic regions is really critical in terms of the global weather So it really affects every single person on the planet.
Look at this big piece right there.
Yeah, that's another leftover of the old ice.
This is a record-breaking year in the region. The lowest sea ice cover ever recorded in the Arctic.
If you were here in 2007, you would see almost mountains of multi-year ice, blue, beautiful. We were stuck on it, we couldn't get out, we had to find our way out. Now it's just thin ice. I mean, this icebreaker is cutting it like nothing. This is a big difference. That's a real story, but you're not seeing now.
The breakup of the Arctic ice sheet troubles Healy's scientists, but it will allow them to do something on this expedition that has never been done before. Back in the Antarctic, the weather clears around Polarstern, giving helicopter pilots a short window to get in the air for a reconnaissance flight. They need to determine the best way to get to the ice shelf.
We will get an overview of the ice situation.
Officers Carola Racketa and Florian Lesch join the pilots. They take note of any open water and thin ice that will mean an easier path for the ship. The heli team keeps tabs on conditions, which could turn at any moment. The path through thick Antarctic ice won't be easy. 9,000 nautical miles north, the Americans face a different problem. Scientists on the icebreaker Healy are concerned with the lack of sea ice in the Arctic this year.
One tiny piece of ice so that we know we're in the Arctic Ocean.
But if there's a silver lining, it's for Kelly Brumley and the geology team. With unprecedented access to the ocean floor.
Well, there's a slope there. Ooh, look at that. There's no... The sediment packages are not even there. They're really beautiful.
They can now do something in this area that's never been done before.
The ice conditions may not be great for the Arctic, but they're certainly be good for mapping. We've been collecting really good data as we go, and hopefully we'll get to dredge pretty soon, too. Can you back out a little so we can see the next plan? We don't know how the Arctic Ocean formed. We don't really know when it formed. All of those features that we're mapping, we don't know what they're made out of. And so, yeah, it's a great big mystery.
In an attempt to solve this mystery, Kelly and her team are preparing to collect rock samples from the Arctic Ocean bottom. From the back of the icebreaker, they will carefully lower a heavy steel dredge nearly 2 miles down.
We're basically going to dredge along a sea wall or cliff, and we're going to attempt to get some rocks. This thing is actually a big steel basket. This thing is going to be going at least to about 3,000 to 3,500 meters.
We've had to slow down to about 5 knots, so it looks like we'll just be getting to the dredge site maybe around noon or 1. The rocks, should we get them, are rarer than moon rocks, actually. There are fewer rocks that have come from the bottom of the Arctic Ocean than we have from the moon. So, really important information.
Kelly and her team have a lot at stake. This will be their one and only chance to collect rock samples at this location.
It's hard to get up here. I mean, you need an icebreaker to get this far north, definitely, and the United States has one. It's always a little freaky, too, because it's dangerous. The thought is always about the wire breaking.
The steel dredge begins its 2-mile journey to the ocean floor when the winch suddenly stops.
Nope, still standing.
It looks like the wire out isn't working right. I recommend to Larry to pull us up and get underway.
If the equipment malfunction isn't sorted out soon, Kelly could lose her once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to collect rare Arctic rock. The German icebreaker Polarstern is at the end of her 5,000-mile journey to the Antarctic ice shelf. There, she will deliver 760 tons of provisions and equipment to the research station Neumayer. But she arrives to find another icebreaker docked in her spot.
At the moment, we are only about 1 mile of that place, waiting here, because the South African Agalis 2 is already alongside there since 2 days.
The South African icebreaker Agalis 2 is taking longer with her resupply mission than expected.
They intended to leave that place yesterday in the evening, but had some delay. It would be risky to approach that place with the Agalis and the ice alongside there.
Breaking completely new berths would take ages and would be dangerous as well, because we could just move the ice about in the area, and that could move the other ship and could disturb the cargo operations.
Every hour lost idling around could bring bad weather, and finishing all the replenishment jobs might be in danger.
Captain Paul makes a tough call.
The situation is now that we cannot rely on the expected time of departure of the Agalis, and very carefully we are maneuvering now to get a place west of the Agalis.
He's going to pull his ship alongside the South African vessel.
We had to operate in a very careful way to protect both vessels from colliding. We could not develop the full force of ramming the ice because it would result in pressing the whole block of floes against the side of the already operating Agalis.
On the other side of the planet, in the Arctic Ocean, scientific work aboard the American icebreaker Healy has come to a halt.
I'm ready to get this going.
Although the geology team is anxious to collect rock samples from the seafloor, an electrical problem has shut down all dredging operations.
When you put the dredge down to 3,800 meters, there's a lot of things that could happen with that. Dredging puts a lot of tension on the wire, and I've seen those cables snap, and it's very, very scary because it could kill someone if that happens.
The winch has been repaired, and the Coast Guard crew carefully lowers the metal dredge to the ocean floor.
That's good. We'll see you in a few hours, little basket.
You was proud.
We finally got the equipment to work properly, so we went ahead and deployed it. And now you can see the counter. We're down to 34 meters right now. We have about 3,815 meters to go. Plus or minus a couple of feet.
Now the hard part, waiting.
The actual act of getting the dredge down to the seafloor, dredging up the cliff, and then pulling it up can take 4 to 5 hours. And then once it's on deck, our real work starts.
What's your outfit?
If it's a whole bunch of mud, how it works out is that we need to sift through all of it to find out what's in there. And then we have some buckets, and if there's anything in there, throw in the bucket.
It's the moment of truth for Brumley and the team.
There's 300-400 pounds of something in there, but it could just as easily be mud. So I'm never really optimistic until, we see it on deck.
It's kind of nerve-wracking, just kind of the anticipation of waiting to see what we're going to get.
If they retrieved rare rock, Kelly Brumley and her team could learn more about how this 80-million-year-old ocean was formed.
It's 2 in the morning, and the dredge is about on deck, and we'll know in a second whether we have mud, rocks, or nada. Shoot, that's a lot of mud. Yeah! Hard rock. Not mud too, but hard rock. Yes! Yay! Okay, wash your hands.
This may not look like much, but somewhere in there, precious rock.
That's rock. We got some rock. Yay.
These are some of the rarest rocks on the planet.
Hey, you guys, that was worth it.
We have more rocks from the moon than samples from the bottom of the Arctic Ocean.
That's right. That's really neat. Having rocks from the places where we got them is going to allow us to kind of rewrite some ideas that we had about the formation of the Arctic Ocean. 24 hours to get 5 rocks. It's sad that this is all there is. It's kind of ridiculous that this is all there is. But hey, you know, this is why science is hard.
11 time zones and more than 9,000 miles away. The German icebreaker Polarstern is finally on the Antarctic ice shelf. Now, the 280 tons of supplies and 150,000 gallons of fuel can finally be offloaded.
We are now discharging all the containers for the Neumeier station. These are about 31 containers.
Holger Fillet, the expedition's veteran cargo officer, takes charge.
It's every time an adventure to bring the ship alongside the ice edge, and I like it very much.
The fuel, equipment, and provisions will sustain the German research station through the winter and the coming year. The cargo has survived a 5,000-mile trip from Germany and must now be hauled several miles more over Antarctic ice. This station, Neumeier 3, is the third German research station on the Ekstrom ice shelf. Its predecessors often got buried in heavy snow and ice. But the $50 million station has the unique ability to raise itself with powerful hydraulics. Neumeier is the only year-round German station in Antarctica where scientists work on things such as detecting earthquakes around the world and monitoring the ozone layer and the Earth's magnetic field, essential for life on the planet.
It was very good operations at Neumeier. Everything was well planned, and I have a lot of good colleagues, my guys in back.
Holger and his men must also take 100 tons of cargo onto the icebreaker.
Very important that we take also all garbage and anything with us. Everything we bring, we have to take back.
After a marathon 48 hours of cargo operations,
now we are finished. Now we write music for leaving.
the Germans depart the Antarctic ice shelf.
Viel steuer, liegen nur Richtungsrichtung.
I would like to wish
everyone a Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, Joyeux Noël, Frohlich Kerstfest, and I would say raise your glass to enjoy the punch.
While the party goes on downstairs, Holga remains alone on the bridge, guiding Polarster north for the next leg of her expedition. There's another 4 weeks of science to be done in the Antarctic. And after 17 years on the German icebreaker, there's no place Holga would rather be.
I like this old lady. It's the best ship I ever had. It's a very good navigation, also operating ship. It's a funny job. In my opinion, this is a little island of happiness.